I just add some things that we're using that are really cool? Our student trustee is so into technology that she sits at board meetings now, and she can Twitter, and she has a blogging page, and it's neat, and students are interacting with her. We have students now that are going to our athletic events that are also for the parents that aren't able to come to see their son or daughter perform. There's Twittering going on, the blogging's happening. I recently got to try a test run. We were doing our New York Alert test messaging, sending out a little thing. What I loved about Regroup, you can send a message and say to students, if you get this, respond back. Reason why I was thinking about that, we had a fire that took place on campus last April. Why the fire took place in the library, we did a great job evacuating the campus and getting students out of there. But what was going through the back of my mind is, oh my God, what if somebody's stuck in that building and we don't know? And is there a way that they can communicate with us? And New York Alert does not provide us that communication vehicle back to respond. We started thinking about that. Regroup provides you with that. So you'll see there's a way that you can ask people to reply back just to let you know that they're safe, or I'm not safe, here's where I am, or I'm locked in this place. It offered a lot more to us at a more reasonable price than what we've been using in some other systems in place. So I just wanted to do that plug too.
And here's actually one of the updates. It's a live update I received from Schenectady. They did create, in addition to an emergency, to a crisis management group, they also created a group for H1N1 alerts, again, top of mind. This is a great way to keep students up to date, to share best practices. This is an email that I received from that group. Martha, I think you actually sent this out. And I mean, this is great. I mean, this is something that we're sharing with a lot of our other schools, and who are also, like you, trying to figure out the best way to kind of mitigate this issue and make sure everyone is well informed.
And to add to that, the nice thing about those messages going out, it's connecting with our parents, it's connecting with family members, it's connecting with our alumni, and so they're knowing what's going on campus. So when you're saying why, I guess I could post it on Facebook, but I'm not hitting the audience that I want to hit. I get to kind of target the audience, and people can join in and be a part of Regroup, but I'm getting my message out to a broader span of people versus my own campus email system and the other options that I had before me.
And with the issue, I'm sorry.
I'm getting there. But then again, it's the customer service. When I posted on a Sunday, I wanted to do a test alert to see if I was to post. I said, I'm just doing a test. I want students to tell me if you get this message. There's no emergency at this point, but we're enhancing our communications in case of the event of emergency. But H1N1's coming, and here's some information about washing your hands, doing whatever. I made a mistake when I went to post it on a Sunday morning, and I forgot to say, and I said reply back, but I forgot to click the button that says I would be willing to accept the replies back. One of these two gentlemen is online and said, Martha, by the way, you forgot to do this. I went in and I fixed it, and then my replies started coming. I'm like, thank you. So there's always like a guardian angel watching over whatever you're doing, which is nice, and they're there to help you through it. So, and it's helping our students too with freedom of speech. We opened it up on campus, and I said to them, I don't want to be Big Brother watching what they're doing. I have to trust some of it and let the clubs go, and it's blossomed. Teaching them through etiquette and having your student leaders also teaching students, be careful what you post. We're always doing that with or without Regroup. But you're giving them the freedom to start different club discussions. They want to sell their books back. They're looking for a ride somewhere. They can post that and communicate without having to go through you, because you don't need to micromanage all that stuff. And then there's times that you might want to manage what's being posted or who's being the administrator of different groups, and you have control to do that.
I have a question for you, but since you brought up that topic, that has been an issue on campus with Facebook in particular, because we are out there, but like, who is responsible for monitoring it? If a student does get on there and starts using profanity or using things, ideas that you don't want out there with your school logo on the top, and how do you monitor that? And
I've trained some students, and I pay those students to do it.
Good.
So I have the students that are very much a part of that social networking site out there helping me to make that happen. And we have not had a problem with anybody posting anything that's inappropriate at this point, so that's been good.
And also, on our end, there's you can set up the network so it's essentially moderated. So during a normal implementation process, we would step into a school, identify the different departments we're going to work with, replicate every existing group and list they have. So if we were working with student affairs, student life, we could step in, create a group on Regroup for every one of the recognized organizations and clubs. Beyond that, we could then lock the, not really lock it, but moderate the entire network. So any request to create a new group would have to flow through a network administrator or the network administrators, depending on who they are. And to show you what that looks like, I mean, the front end, the back end, as a network administrator really is the front end. You have one button that makes you different. You have the administrative settings. So if I came down here to Schenectady County Community College, you know, I would see that there are 4 groups pending. I can click on that, grab my morning coffee, and just go down the list. Accept, deny, accept, deny. If you deny, you can give them reason. It will actually, when a student or an organization requests to create a group, it will give you general information about the group. And if it fits, accept. If it doesn't, you can deny it. So that's the level of control you have as an administrator. On the group side, the group administrator would be responsible for editing out any content. If there's an inappropriate post, they can boot people out of the group. They can remove content if it goes up and it's inappropriate. But as Martha said, you know, fingers crossed, we haven't had any issues with any of our schools so far, so I think everyone's been very responsible in their use.
The other question I had was about adding students. You mentioned maybe potentially, I think, or just like giving you access to our Active Directory, and you would I assume automatically load all of our students. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then how does a student know that they are now a member of Regroup? Do they get?
They do. They'll receive an initial message saying that they've been added. And generally what a school will do right after the implementation process, once everyone's been added, they'll send out an all-student announcement either ahead of it or right after, you know, from the school's, you know, traditional email. So, you know, students know this is not, you know, that this is something that is school-sponsored and offered. You know, we just implemented with Alabama, and they did just that. They sent out an all-student email, and some of the students, it's testament to how many students don't pay attention to the .edu email. They got a flood of emails when they were added to Regroup saying, hey, you know, what is this? And it's like, hey, we told you a week ago. But that's generally how schools will get by that.
And you can put the icon on your webpage. You can put your icon. We use Angel. Some of you use Blackboard. We use Angel as our course management system. It's on there that students can click on Regroup to connect. We have messages on campus on where they can go for that word of mouth. Each one of our clubs is actually using it right now. I mentioned our library, our bookstore is promoting their sales, things that are going on, discounts through Regroup. Register is online right now, telling students that it's time to register for the spring semester.
Sure. And sometimes the most important updates aren't necessarily emergency announcements or a crisis management situation. This is an example of how a school in Maryland, this is a school that's been trying very hard to get past kind of the reputation of being a party school. And you know, you have a lot of students, again, who aren't paying attention to administrative emails. The SGA, you know, sponsored the Safe Ride weekend during homecoming, and they were able to send it out, you know, over Facebook, over Twitter, over SMS. That's what the students are paying attention to. This is a message that I think is very critical that students get, because it's homecoming weekend, and you certainly don't want to get them out there, you know, feeling safe. You want them to know they have an option, you know, an option against, you know, drinking and driving. So that was another important message that went out.